In this video, I'm going to show you how to easily create a blog post that you can use as a lead magnet on your website. So let's go ahead and go over here to the builder, and we're going to come into our pages menu. We're going to hit blog. Okay, so I'm going to pause right here and just let you know that this whole video is pretty much dedicated to showing you how to start from scratch to create a blog post, but there is a button that allows you to duplicate your blog post once you've got a decent format already set up. So don't despair. Yes, we are going to spend 25-30 minutes going through the whole blog post showing you how to set it all up, but once you do the work, you'll be able to duplicate it again and again. So now I'll go ahead and continue with the video. And now what we're going to do is go ahead and hit add post. So here's our blank blog post that we can go ahead and start customizing. Now we're going to go ahead and use ChatGPT to help us create this blog post. So I've already come up with a good prompt. I'm just going to go ahead and paste it in here. And it basically just says, I have a 1% down payment conventional mortgage program. Write a blog post that's approximately 1,000 words long that offers the benefits and program details. So now I'll just go ahead and hit send message and let ChatGPT work its magic. Okay, so we can see that the article is kind of broken up into different areas. So there's key program details, and then there's benefits. So it followed my instructions very well. Let's take this a step further and ask for some good titles. Okay, so it came up with 5 different titles that I could use for my blog post. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. I kind of like number 2. Let's go ahead and just copy that. And we'll come back to our blog post and just throw that in there. There we go. Now there's going to be a summary, right? So this summary needs to be kind of short and sweet. And ChatGPT did a great job. So let's just go ahead and copy that. We're going to go ahead and paste it right here. All right, perfect. Now we've got this block right here. So what we'll do is go ahead and copy the first part of our mortgage program blog right here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. And I'll just paste it right here. All right, so this part right here is kind of a headline for our blog post. So what I want to do is come over here and hit this style. I've highlighted this first area. Now I'm going to hit style and hit header 1. So that now that part is got a special tag so that Google can crawl it and know that that's a header 1 part. Now we're also going to want to have that be bold and bigger. I think 20 ought to do it. I'm going to make this a little bit more spaced out. So I'm going to adjust the line height so that it's just a little bit easier to read. There we go. All right, so there we go. There's our first part of the blog post. What is the 1% down mortgage program? And it goes into detail here. I'm going to go ahead and just, oops. Put an extra space in there. Make sure this looks good. All right, cool. All right, so there's the first part of our blog post. Now, the next thing I want to do is maybe have some a picture with part of the other text, because here you can see key program details. There's like a numbered checklist or a numbered list of program details. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is come down here and add a different style of block. So I'll come down here and click add a block, and I want text and image. Something like that. There we go. Okay, so now we've got a picture and then we've got a text block over here. We can make this text block bigger so that it fills up that container just by grabbing those handlebars and stretching it out. And now we can go ahead and kind of make this look better. So what we want to do is maybe go ahead and get rid of this little part of text here and just delete that. Now we've got our headline. There's also a spacer in here, so we can kind of shrink that down a little bit just by clicking these arrows and pulling it up. So that looks all right. Let's go ahead and get our information in here. So, well, first we're going to go ahead and delete these check mark icon areas. So we'll just highlight those. All right, so we've got header and text. So let's go ahead and grab our header. We'll just paste it in there. Control V. Maybe make that a little bit smaller. Okay, maybe not quite that small. Something like that. And now we're going to go ahead and grab our text. Paste it in there. We want to make sure that the copy is the same. So we're going to have open sans and 15. So this is not open sans and it's not 15. Or if it is open sans, it's not the same spacing. So there we go. Now we're going to go ahead and hit that line height, make that a little bit more stretched out, and make that 15 font. Yeah, something like that, right? There we go. All right, so now let's go ahead and take a look at this. Eligibility, private, flexible, gift. Okay, so we're going to put some numbers in here. And you can see on my toolbar, I've got an ordered list. So I can click 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yep, that looks about right to me. All right. Maybe we'll just go ahead and get rid of that spacer altogether. So I'm going to click in there. Let's see, I'm going to pull this down a little bit so now there's more room. Get rid of that. There we go. Great. Now I'm going to kind of drag down from here to give that a little room. Drag down from here. There we go. Get rid of that space. All right, cool. That looks pretty good. Now what we can do is go ahead and change the background here. So let's go ahead and click into it. And we're going to click into the picture. And now we can go ahead and choose something from our image directory or something that we've already uploaded. So something like this would look kind of good, tall and skinny, because you'd be able to see what it is. So let's go ahead and try that. Yeah, right, like that. What if we were to take this column and let's see, shadow maybe? Outer, black. Make that pop off the page a little bit like that. Might give it some visual intrigue, right? Okay. All right, super. I don't mind that at all. So far so good. All right, let's just go ahead and keep on. So now what we want to do is add another block. Something where the picture's on the other side, like this one. Now this one having the black background like that, we may not want that, so we can click into the column right here and see if the background color is that, and it's not. So what we can actually do is kind of mouse over this block right here, click into the gear of the block, and that's where the background color is. So we can go ahead and get rid of that. There we go. And now we've got all this white text in here. So what we'll want to do is go ahead and delete some of it and maybe get rid of that button. Get rid of these icons here. There's a spacer, there's text, a heading. Okay, so here in the heading block, we'll just kind of pretend we can see and click and drag, and we're going to make that black. And here in the text area, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make that black. All right, super. Okay, this appears to be sans serif. So let's make that open sans. Open sans. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I had everything set up right. Now let's go back over to ChatGPT and grab our headline for the second section. Paste that in there. And let's just keep our formatting the same. So that's 28 open sans. We're going to go ahead and highlight that. We'll make it open sans and 28. We'll make this bigger by dragging those handlebars out like that. All right, now let's address the line height. So we're just going to kind of mess around with that and see what looks better. That looks pretty good. All right, now we'll go ahead and deal with this text. So let's go ahead and copy this. And we'll paste it over here. Hit Control V, and there it is. All right, so let's go and make sure we know what we're doing here with this. So we're going to have line height of 1.6, 15 open sans, and the bullets with the numbers. Okay, so we're just going to highlight this. We're going to go 1.6. Open sans and 15. All right, so something we could do to add visual intrigue is highlight this, right? We could bold that stuff. So we'll do this on this, and we'll do that on the other one too. Let's go ahead and bold these. All right, let's see now. So by requiring a 1% down, that's number one, lower barrier to entry. So we're going to go ahead and click in here, and you can see our cursor is right there on the edge. So we're going to hit this ordered list, and we'll highlight that to make it bold. Actually, there's a funny space in there. I don't like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this. Get it right back over to that far left-hand column area. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to grab the number 1 with it. Now that it's highlighted, I'm going to hit Control C because that makes it easier to copy and paste without messing up where you've got your cursor. So Control V to paste it. There we go. Look at that. Now the 1 is in there. That's great. So now I can come in here, make this 1.6, unbold the article part, and there we go. Look at that. Now I can come in here and bold this and bold this. All right. Maybe I'll shrink this down a little bit. Well, maybe I won't. Give that room to breathe, right? Okay, now let's go ahead and look at this image. Let's go ahead and change this background. Get rid of that picture. And let's look at this one. That's not so good. Maybe something with a little more color. So you can come in here and mess around with these settings too to see if it looks better. Let's look at cover whole area. That's not so good either. Repeat makes it repeat. Yeah, that one's probably the best. Yeah, starry skies, a pool, and a house with a warm, inviting light. That's not the worst, right? All right, so that is, so far we're doing pretty good on our blog post here. We've got some things with interest. Maybe we want to go ahead and put a shadow around this column here. So, you know, sometimes these things can get in the way when you're in there. What you'll want to do is kind of click around and see if you can get it to disappear. And if you can't, well, then just click here and, you know, click around it. And you can see the column settings are right behind it. So we'll just click it. If you couldn't get to it, you could always drag this down a little bit, and then the column settings is there. And now I can go ahead and, let's see, add a shadow. I don't know if I like that because that one doesn't fill up as much of the column like this one did. Yeah, that one doesn't look as good, does it? Let's go ahead and get rid of that. No shadow. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and drag this back up, and I'm going to rethink this section a little bit. Let's just do something here. And maybe we don't want it to have a picture right next to it, right? Maybe that's a little too busy. Maybe what we want to do is come in here and just go columns and go 1. And now all of our text is all in one column. The picture is gone. And now maybe that would look better. Let's go ahead and go with that, right? That's not so bad. I kind of like it actually. So this gives us some visual intrigue. This gets rid of that picture. All right, I kind of like that. That's a good looking layout, right? All right, let's go ahead and give that a run. And I'll shrink this up just a little bit. All right, that looks good. So now let's just go ahead for our last part, which is the conclusion. So now I can come down here and go ahead and highlight that, copy it, or Control C. Now we need another block. So let's go ahead and grab something. Actually, what I've decided to do is go ahead and just copy one of the text blocks from up above and bring it down below so that we can format the conclusion in that. Now what I can do though is I can take this block and I can copy it. Watch this. So I'm going to mouse up over so that that block becomes visible, hit copy, and then right up here, this last thing right here, that's what I just copied. So let's kind of scroll down here, and then we'll take this container and we'll drag it down wherever the blue line sits. That's where it's going to be. And there it is. Watch this. Now I can take this and highlight all the text and then hit Control V and wish I didn't do that. Because now it's got some crazy spacing. So what I'm going to do is hit the undo button. And now what I'm going to do is get rid of this heading here. And let's try that again. Just by putting it in that space where everything's uniformly spaced. There we go. So that's the 1% down, the 1% down. Yep, so everything looks good there. Now I can go ahead and get rid of this and 1% down payment, unlock. Yeah, okay, so that's that. All right, so we're almost done. Now what I can do is take this and, okay, it's 15, open sans, that's all right. It's 1.6, that looks good. Yeah, I think I like that. All right, so now what we want to do, we can go ahead and get an image. So if we wanted to, we could use any one of these. And now that will be an image for our blog post. Now let's go over here to settings. And you can see there's different options. So there's going to be a sidebar, a header. We're going to have comments if we want. And of course, we're going to hold all comments for approval just in case somebody's mean. So we're going to go ahead and leave those there. Now let's go ahead, and this is a 1% homebuyer program. So what we want to do is we want to add a tag that is Googleable and searchable on our blog posts. So we'll go ahead and hit the plus, and we're going to come here and put home buyers, and that's already one of the categories I've got created there. So I'll just go ahead and hit that tag for home buyers. And now categories, let's go ahead and hit home buyers again. And there it is, home buyers. All right, now the URL. So this is what is going to happen here. So this is going to have your URL.com / whatever the blog post URL is going to be. So we're going to go low down payment program, something like that. Now I'm not going to be the author. This is going to be someone else. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the author's name in there, and then the post date. Now when I click in here, I can choose a date, or I can just hit now. And you can see 2/29/24 here at 5:33 p.m. So now I've got my settings all set up there. That looks good. And let's hit update. That invalid request that just popped up, go ahead and ignore it, just close it, and then re-update or resave your work. That's a known bug in the system that the programmers are working on. There we go. Sometimes you got to click update twice because it'll just get stuck. No worries. So, all right, there's our blog post. It's looking good. Now let's go ahead and take a look at it. Let's go back to our posts, and let's go back to our home page. So we'll go to Pages, Home, and now we can kind of scroll down here to our blog post. And here you can see our image with our title and our summary right here. So now when I go ahead and preview the website, and I scroll down here, here's my blog post, and now I can hit read more. And there is the blog post. Now it looks like I've got to still set this up. This is not proper. I've got to create that header right here so that it's got my client's name and information in it. But you can see here's the other blog posts, and here is a title, and here is what our blog post looks like. It looks great. So now what we can do is come down here and let's add another block. So I'm just going to go ahead and create an empty block. And that empty block is right here. So now when I click into it, you can see this column and plus. So this plus will add another row. So there will be a a row up top and a row on the bottom, or I can add columns and I can make it like, let's say 2. So now there's 2 columns in there, right? So what I can do is I can go ahead and drag over a button. So here's my button. I just simply drag it over right there. And I do it again, and I go right here. So now I've got 2 buttons right here on my blog post. So I can go ahead and click into this, hit edit, and now I can say something like this: chat with me. And look, here's a second line of text. And I'm going to say something like opens in Messenger. Now just for fun, I'm going to make an icon in here, add an icon. I got to kind of make a little more room. There we go. So now I'm going to click on this icon right here, and I'm just going to type in chat so that it's got a chat bubble. So there's the chat bubble. Chat with me opens in Messenger, and now I can go ahead and click add a link, and that is something that I can grab right out of my Manychat account. I'm going to go to my automations. I've got my Ask bot right here, ASK, Ask bot. So what I want to do is I want to grab my URL here. So I'll click into my URL. Now I had to create this, but it's all part of my course over at Tim Armstrong Marketing, the attraction marketing course. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and grab this link. Oops, I didn't want to click it because it just started my bot. I'm going to copy this link right there. And now I'm going to come over here and say external URL, paste, new tab, and no follow. We want it to open up Messenger in a new tab and then also make it so that Google does not index this link. So we're going to make it no follow. We'll click select and there it is. Now if I want to, I can change the appearance of the button. I can change the padding size. I can change the border radius. So if you want rounded borders, it could be 10. If you want the border size to be bigger, there's a way to do that as well. You can change the color just like that. And that border is still blue, so you can see now it's got different things. You can also animate it. So when I click over this and I hit this timer, I can make it come in at 100 milliseconds and it's going to, let's see, fade in from the left. So it's going to do that, right? There it is. So that one fades in from the left. Now, if I want to, I can go ahead and add my calendar link in here the same way I added this. So I would just simply click in here, hit edit link. This one would be external, put my calendar link in here. So mine is going to be, and this one is going to be a new tab, no follow. Now, if you've got a contact us page on your website, the same website as your blog, it could be just a page on your, it could be a page, or it could even be an anchor point. Like in this example, this one's going to be an anchor point. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this, and then right here is contact. So now when they hit that anchor point, it's going to bring them right to this. And that, because this is on the same website, I'll go ahead and leave it as the same tab and not worry about it being a no follow link, because it's actually going to be part of my same website. So now I can say, all right, my calendar. Let's go ahead and click on that and add an icon. We're going to go calendar. Make this button look like the other button with all the formatting goodies we have right here. All right, so this one fades in from the left, this one fades in from the right to give it a little bit of action. So now here's a couple ways people can go ahead and chat with you or set up a calendar appointment with you right on your calendar. So look at that. Now we've got a cool blog post here full of keywords. Now if you wanted to get really fancy, you could do something else in here. Let's say you wanted to add a block and you wanted to put a video in there. You could certainly do that. Just go ahead and do something like this. So now you've got a video in there, and all you've got to do is go ahead and click this, edit video, and you can put your YouTube video in there or someplace where it's hosted like Vimeo. You can get rid of the custom thumbnail, and now you've got a video in your blog post just like that. So now people can watch the video, read about some stuff. They can reach you, which is just fantastic because you want people to be able to reach you, right? So if you're using this as a lead magnet, this is a fantastic way to go. Now, if you want this to be first, instead of some words, just move this block up by clicking that arrow. And now look, now they're gonna see the headline, the summary, and maybe we don't even want this. Oh, it just moved up our words. It didn't move up the video. Just a second here. There we go. Because that's actually 2 blocks. See this column right here? It's kind of elevated up into the other area. So maybe I want to slide that down. And now it's just header, more information, more text, and then my video. But I can get rid of anything I like. So I can go ahead and click delete. I can go ahead and maybe pop this in there, turn this into more like 20, and maybe bring it up a little bit so it's not so big. Get rid of this other area. And then just put in here Watch the video for more details. So now you've got a really cool video area in there. So let's go ahead and get rid of this button maybe. Get rid of these words. There's a spacer. We can go ahead and shrink this up a little bit. But the bigger we make that, look at that, that shadow is kind of changing shape. Kind of gives it a little pop. Or you can get rid of that shadow if you don't like it. Just simply delete it. Now it's just sitting there. So now if I wanted to, I could take this column and add a shadow behind it like this. And now my video has a shadow all the way around it. And there, now it looks like it's popping off the page. So that's pretty cool, right? So I'm going to make this one Open Sans. Maybe make it like 22. Look at that, right? That looks classy. Wonderful. Let's hit Update and go back to Posts. And now let's go ahead and preview our website, open it in a new tab. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and hit this Read More button. And now here it is. Here's our image, our headline. Watch the video. And then here's our blog and our buttons. All right, so let's go back to our blog and fix that header and side column issue that we saw earlier in the video. So where you fix that is right over here in your blog section where you're going to create a blog. Come over to Edit Header and Sidebar. Now this is where you can change the wording right here in your sidebar. You can change this hello, you can put anything you want in there, you can put some contact information in here or whatever you like. And then you can also change out this solid color block and put some words in here by coming over to this plus sign. You can throw a heading over here if you like. You can go ahead and change the color of the text and all that stuff. And so you can change that, and then you have to hit save. And just so you know too, now that you've gone through all the trouble of creating this blog post and it's formatted the way you like with buttons and everything, what you can do now is go ahead and duplicate it so that you don't have to recreate it. That's the good news here. So watch this. You simply hit the duplicate button and look at that. There's that stupid invalid request. Let's do it again. There we go. So now this is a draft. It's not published yet, but you can see it's a complete duplicate of this one. So now instead of having to come in here and do all that goofing around with pictures and videos and buttons, now you can just come in here and update the blog post. So all you got to do is maybe get rid of the video if you don't want to, right? You can get rid of the video widget. Let's see, we can go ahead and, here, let's just go ahead and get rid of this whole block right here. There we go. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Oops. There we go. So now we've got our title, summary, and then our blog post. And you could always put a video down here at the bottom or whatever. But I'll go ahead and keep making cool videos that show you how to best use your blog as lead magnets. And you just go ahead and start using ChatGPT to crank out more content as lead magnets and let me know how it's going or if you have questions.